Skyroot Aerospace has unveiled the Vikram I rocket. So this is the first privately built rocket in India that's going to be capable of taking commercial satellites into space. And as many of you already know, Skyroot made headlines back in 2022 when they launched the Vikram-S as a technology demonstration, but that rocket wasn't capable of carrying commercial payloads, whereas the Vikram I, on the other hand, is. Skyroot is planning on launching Vikram I into space in the first quarter of 2024, and they unveiled this new rocket at their new headquarters, which they're calling Max-Q. Now, talking a little bit about the Vikram I, it's a 7-story tall multi-stage rocket that can be assembled and launched within 24 hours, and it's capable of carrying a 300-kilogram payload into low Earth orbit. Earlier this week, Skyroot released a simulated visualization of what Vikram I's launch is going to look like, and it's pretty spectacular, but this is actually just the beginning for Skyroot. Heading over to their website, we can see that they're planning on using the revenue that they make from launching payloads into space as a B2B space tech company to build two other really impressive rockets, the Vikram II and the Vikram III. Now, India's space industry at the moment is only worth about $8 billion, and a massive chunk of that is dominated by ISRO. But with companies like Skyroot Aerospace entering the space, launching commercial satellites, and generating revenue from those launches, this industry could grow to a size of $100 billion by 2040. All right, next up in the news, Mamaearth is finally going public, but guess what? They're raising less money than they initially planned to at a lower valuation. So back in August of 2023, Mamaearth's parent company, Honasa Consumer Limited, got the green light from SEBI for their IPO. Then on the 25th of October, they filed their final red herring prospectus, and we finally have a date for their IPO now, the 31st of October. So previously, Mamaearth was planning on raising 400 crore rupees, but the number has come down now to 365 crore rupees, and that's not the only thing getting slashed here. At the time of them filing their DRHP, their draft red herring prospectus in 2022, Mamaearth was valuing themselves at about $3 billion, but now, after a lot of criticism on that valuation, they've come down to $1.3 billion, more than half, more than a 50% reduction in valuation. And this is pretty much the same valuation that they had back in January of 2022 when they raised their last funding round of $1.2 billion. Now, I don't know about you guys, but as a member of the public myself and as a potential retail investor in this kind of IPO, it is a bit concerning to see a company that hasn't really added a lot of value since January of 2022. That's a huge amount of time, 20 plus months that the company should have been actively adding value, increasing the valuation of their company. And they haven't done that, or at least they're not pricing their IPO with that in mind. And it could be an optics game. Maybe they're pricing their IPO at this price point of $1.3 billion just to keep people happy and make sure that people are interested in buying shares in the company. And maybe it's not actually a reflection of the valuation, the actual true valuation of the company. And they're just doing this as a response to the criticism that they got for that previous $3 billion valuation. I'm not sure. Leave a comment down below and let me know, as a retail investor, are you excited and actually interested in investing in this IPO? All right, now let's move on to the next piece of news, something a little bit more negative here. Byju's CFO has stepped down. He's quitting the company. Now, this is bad news in its own right, but it's made even worse by the fact that the CFO, Ajay Goel, joined the company just 7 months ago. Now, he's not just quitting without a plan, he's actually going back to his previous company, Vedanta, where he was the group CFO since 2021. But the news is coming right after Byju's is preparing to file their audited results for the financial year of 2022, which has already been delayed for a very long time. And so with Ajay gone, Nitin Golani, who is the president of finance at Byju's, is being promoted to the new role as CFO. And it's looking like he's expected to bring this thing over the finish line and actually getting these audited results out the door. All right, next up in the news, you might have heard that last month in September of 2023, Groww overtook Zerodha in terms of the number of investors on their platform. But guess what? Now Groww is also profitable too. Groww recently posted their financials for FY23, and things are looking really good for this company. Their revenue has grown 266% in FY23 to reach 1,277 crore rupees. But the best part is they finally become profitable, and in a big way. They posted a profit of 448 crore rupees. And even though Groww is still way behind Zerodha in terms of their revenue, they have a lot of things going for them right now. Zerodha's co-founder and CEO Nitin Kamath has said that their business has actually plateaued in terms of revenue and profitability, whereas on the other hand, Groww has actually managed to grow in terms of revenue and users. And one of the biggest reasons for this growth is that unlike Zerodha, which charges fixed account opening fees and also annual maintenance charges for its users, Groww lets their users open accounts for free and charges no maintenance fee either. So I'm curious to know, which platform are you guys using for your investments, Groww or Zerodha? Leave a comment down below and let me know. But now let's move on to the next news item here, because Ola is onboarding bike taxi drivers at a salary of up to 70,000 rupees plus incentives. So at the moment, there is not one single all-electric bike taxi operator in Bengaluru. And so this is a huge opportunity for Ola if they can move quickly. And so that's one of the reasons why they're offering such a lucrative salary. And this is coming to us from a report by Money Control, by the way. And based on the numbers that they were able to collect, a driver could possibly end up earning as much as 84,000 rupees per month on this new platform. Of course, there is a catch. There always is. Most of these drivers won't end up earning that much, and here's why. To earn 84,000 rupees per month, they'd have to do 30 plus rides every single day for the next 30 days, and they'd be getting about 2,800 rupees per day doing this kind of work. However, that number does seem a little bit unlikely, because one driver explained that the Ola S1 can run for about 70 to 75 kilometers on a full charge. Once his S1 runs out of juice, he'd either have to go to one of Ola's fast chargers or go home and charge his vehicle before he can get back out on the road again and start making money. So that is definitely one of the limitations of electric vehicles in this bike taxi model, but I guess that's just the reality of the situation. And still, it seems like drivers will be able, at least in the short term, to make quite a bit of money driving bikes for Ola. All right, now let's move on to the funding news segment. This week, Indian startups raised $81 million compared to last week's $210 million. Now, most of these funds went to PMI Electromobility, which is an EV company making electric buses. They raised $30 million in convertible notes, and it's not clear whether these guys have raised funds in the past or not. It appears to be the first funding round that they've raised, but it's hard to say at this point because we've never come across this company before. But next up, we have the Indian Garage Co., a fashion-focused e-commerce platform that raised $18.5 million in their Series A round. Then we have drone manufacturer Zerodha Aerospace. They raised $3 million in a bridge round following their Series A. So this bridge round is intended to get them through until their Series B. And then finally, we have an Indian beer brand, Prus, which was featured on Shark Tank India Season 2, and they raised $3 million in their pre-Series A round. All right, next up, I quickly want to talk about an incredible hardware startup that's building in the EV space here in India. The company is called Bolt Earth. So these guys have built India's largest charging network with more than 30,000 charge points spread out across the country. They're also building an operating system for EVs with a specific emphasis on two-wheelers, which isn't something that anyone has done. There are individual companies which have built proprietary operating systems, like, for example, Ola Electric or Ather Energy, where their operating systems are specifically intended for their vehicles, and nobody else is really able to use that technology, whereas Bolt Earth is trying to create something that's much more democratic. And so I actually sat down with the co-founder of this company, Mohit Yadav, and he told me the entire story of his business. It's an incredible journey. You should definitely go check it out. You can find a link to it up here. And that's all I have for the startup news this week. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.